Hey, yeah, hey, it's the boat crew, and we always winning. Hey, go against us, I don't recommend it. Hey, it's the boat crew, best up in the business. It's the boat crew, repping for the city. Macking on and off the field like Khalil. They hate on us cause we keep it too real. I'm talking smack like Phil Rivers in the field. Oh, you mad again cause we kept it real? Why you mad? Hey, I'm talking smack, I feel like Uncle Dave. Hey, I bring the pain, I feel like Derwin James. I could run and gun, I feel like Herbo down the lane. I feel like LT the way I'm stiff arming these lanes. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah. Ay, we just wanna win, we just wanna win, ay. Putting on for the city, putting on for the city. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Palet, Josh Palet, and Mario Heron talking Charger football with you as we get ready for the 2025 season. Kind of feels like, again, we're getting closer and closer because we're about a week away from actual real football with Charger players in Charger uniforms, and it seems like it's been a long off season. Right? We've waited a long time to go, all right, let's get something to get excited about, and we start moving in that direction. So you're hearing good and bad things, right, about the Chargers, mostly good because the excitement factor in almost every camp, unless you're the Cincinnati Bengals, is good. Everybody's going to sell you something for a reason of why their team has a chance of making a run at the Super Bowl. But here we go. Looking at the Chargers, guys, before we even get into, the 2025 season and what the roster looks like and anything we might be hearing, I want to start off with Philip Rivers. Because Philip Rivers, we always wonder kind of what is that relationship like with former Chargers and the organization, right? We've seen things end bad many times, whether it's Kellen Winslow Sr., whether it's LaDainian Tomlinson, who all of a sudden comes back, Rodney Harrison, all of a sudden he's back in it. Even Junior Seau, when he left, it wasn't great at all. And so here we are with Philip Rivers, where he comes into a situation where all of a sudden you're seeing him back. And it was kind of good to see, my opinion at least, guys, to see just Rivers' face and to see him talking about being a Charger, the fact that he wants to retire a Charger, I think it's good news for all of us, even though it doesn't equal any wins for this year. It kind of a feel-good story that there's a family atmosphere.
I agree with you, man. And I think the last few years as a Charger fan, it's been kind of refreshing to see that the team and franchise is pulling in the right direction, right, Mario? Because for years, the Chargers were known as one of the joke franchises. Like Dave said, former players were disgruntled. They would make head-scratching moves. There was never any consistency with the head coaches and management, and now it seems like everybody's kind of pulling in the same direction. And when you see a player like Philip Rivers, who, for me, Mario, is my favorite Charger of all time, say, hey, I'm retiring as a Charger. This is where I love to be. This is where I'll forever be known. And he's happy to be there. It makes me happy because I know that my childhood wasn't watching some player that hated playing for the Chargers.
Especially because, we kind of grew up in a little bit of the same era, Josh. Philip Rivers was the most popular Charger, right? Like, there, obviously, LT had his time, but the longest tenured, the guy that a lot of people bring up around our age is Philip Rivers. That's who they think of right away when they say Los Angeles Chargers. And to have him retire, a part of the organization, a part of the team, that's awesome. Like, that's fantastic. And I think it goes to show, the Chargers have gotten a lot of crap over the years for not having enough history. Like you guys said, not really taking care of your players that played in the past. And we're seeing that change now. And I think that's all for the better. And that's something that's, very strong and good. I think something that Harbaugh himself even wanted to put into place because, we crap on him all the time. But there is a thing where, like, the Raiders, once a Raider, always a Raider. And I think every organization, Dave, really wants to have that type of feeling as well. And the Chargers are doing the right things to move towards that.
Yeah, I really would be. I mean, it's great to see Philip, jump in and obviously his offensive linemen that were with him, that they're part of the announcement. I mean, how great would it be to see Philip Rivers become a national broadcaster and then trash the hell out of Justin Herbert every single Sunday, the way Dan Fouts used to? I mean, the way you used to feel as far as that comfort zone of being a family. I'm just joking. Dan Fouts, I don't think any of us will ever forgive Dan for the way he treated Philip Rivers all those years. And so, of course, Jim Harbaugh is a former Charger quarterback, but when you think of Jim Harbaugh, his playing career, you think of him with the Bears and with the Colts, and he was with the Chargers for a short time. I think it was Ghostly just wrote in here in the chat saying he would love to see Rivers and Herbert talk. And I'm sure football players love to talk, right? Anyone who's great at their sport, they love to talk about how they did it or what they see. And Justin Herbert doesn't seem like the kind of guy like I'm too big for my shoes when it comes to taking advice. I think we would just like to see that feeling. And it's funny when you said the once a Raider, always a Raider, Mario, when I used to cover the NFL every single Sunday, the one thing about the Raiders when they came to town, where I sat in the press box, Al Davis and his guys would sit right behind me, and he always brought 4 Raider Hall of Famers sitting right with him. It was kind of cool. They had the rings, their fingers were beat up to hell, but they were part of the family, and Al never forgot them. And the Spanos family, maybe because they weren't coaches or it's just a different atmosphere, it's never been like that with the Chargers. Like, it's like, once a Charger and once we pay you, we forget you. And that's how it always felt with this organization. And don't want to say it's half-assed, but as a fan, it always felt like a half-assed move.
I think we lost Dave a little bit there. Did we, Josh?
I think we did.
And there was an announcement like that. There you go. The Chargers would always announce a bunch of guys that would come back, and no one ever heard of these guys. You're like, who was that guy? That guy was a punter in 1978. What? There was never anybody you wanted to see. It was nothing cool about Charger Alumni Week back in the day.
Yeah, no, I'm happy he's retired a Charger, Mario, and I hope he has that conversation with Justin Herbert because we'd all want to see that, right? Philip Rivers, not just me, but for a lot of people, favorite Charger of all time. Let's move to some recent news with the actual Chargers team. Nahiem Hines, who for all of us that remember this, had that jet ski incident 2 years ago, almost to the day, where he missed, he's been out for 2 years since then. So that was in July 2023. Chargers signed him as a running back for this team. When he did play in 2022, Mario, he wasn't lighting the world on fire, but he was a guy that was known as a decent running back in the league. The bigger picture here is that I don't think Najee Harris is going to be ready. Why would the Chargers reach out to Nahiem Hines for a workout and sign him to the squad if Najee was going to be okay? Do you have the same feeling with this situation, Mario?
I feel like it's just like an insurance plan just in case. And also maybe they just need one more extra body to kind of play in this preseason game that we have coming up against the Detroit Lions. So that's kind of where I see like the logic for this coming in. Nahiem Hines is a player that's very well liked around the league, and this will be given, he'll be given a chance to show what, he's been up to, show if he still got it or not in 1 week. And I think that's what they're kind of doing it. And in case that Najee Harris isn't ready to go week 1, there's still a lot of time. Like Najee has, I wouldn't rush it at all. You know what you have in Najee Harris. He's not out there to prove anything. But I do see it as kind of like an insurance, Dave, like just in case, crap hits the fan, we got him with Hampton and we're good to go.
I mean, I think everyone's concerned, right, about Najee. I mean, the player we thought we were getting and the player we're, we might be getting. I mean, it's unfortunately, it's a horrible situation for Najee and for the Chargers. I mean, whether it's a guy that you're grabbing off the scrap heap that hasn't played in 2 years, or it's a situation with the Chargers that there's a guy that we think can actually help this team. If he was so good, why don't we sign him 2 months ago? I think this is a situation. It's a desperate move. Josh, it's not a good sign at all that this is happening.
It's a desperation move for sure. The first thing I thought of was Najee. It wasn't Nahiem Hines when we signed him. I said, okay, Nahiem Hines is the third running back on a good team. If we have to sign him, Najee's probably not going to be ready. That's just my initial reaction. Dave, you weren't able to do this because you have bigger and better shows than this one, apparently, because you did TV at the same time that Mario and I talked about Mike Williams. What are your thoughts? I mean, Mike Williams retires right at the beginning of training camp, and now we're without our number, what do you want to call him, the 2 or 3 receiver on this team?
Yeah, so number one is I did follow the show when you guys did it. I was actually stuck in traffic on the 5, and I was glad you guys went and did the show because that was breaking news, and I'm glad the people that followed this show were looking forward to it and were involved. That's awesome. That we kind of learned something, by the way, as a show, that we don't need to stay on exact schedule. We can jump on when anything like this happens again, and you guys will be there, which is great. And that's what we tell you, to like and subscribe to the show. I tell you, this news, though, with Mike Williams, it completely devastating. I mean, I was completely devastated to hear Mike Williams wasn't going to be around this year. And that is 100% not true. The way I feel with Mike Williams is, hey, didn't miss you when you were at the Jets, didn't miss you when you were at the Steelers. Not one point did I have any remorse that you weren't wearing our uniform. You've been a disappointment, so it's almost day one. You've been inconsistent as all hell. I'd never know what I'm getting as a Charger fan and Mike Williams. You know, even when I think you're starting to play well, you're gone in week 3 with a season-ending injury. And look, I understand injuries are part of the game and you can't control those. But still, what do we say all the time? The best ability is availability. And Mike Williams, to the very end of his career, wasn't available. And he let more people down than you could possibly know, right? What's the saying? When I drop dead, I want Mike Williams to be one of my pallbearers so he can let me down one more time. And that's how I feel, okay? That's how I feel about Mike Williams, is we aren't going to miss you because he never put the new uniform on. And that's it. There's nothing there, nothing no love lost, nothing about his talent level, anything else. You can't depend on a guy like that. And then anybody who has a friend like a Mike Williams, just as a guy, you just stop calling that guy, because that guy's not going to be there when you need him. And he's not someone you want to hang out with. And he's definitely not someone you want to do business with. And I'm glad we're out of the Mike Williams business. So see you later.
Can you ever not be a jerk?
Hope you can get out of your goddamn rental agreement.
Can you ever not be a jerk?
No, it's more fun.
Okay.
I thought you were really going sentimental there. I was falling for it. I was like, oh, he's
should know better by now.
I know
better by now. This is where I stand on Mike Williams, Mario. I'm not with Dave on the complete be a Paul Burrell at my funeral type situation that he's on right now. But Mike Williams was to some degree a bust, or not. I'm not gonna say a bust. He was a very underwhelming player for what you expected from Mike Williams. He was a top 10 draft pick. He was injured a lot of the time as a Charger. He's injured in general for his entire career. And I don't know what to say about him. When he was drafted in 2017, you would expect him to play for 10 years. So when a guy's drafted that high, you expect him to play for 10 years and be an all-pro player and a guy that has double-digit touchdowns. And I know he did that a couple times, or maybe one time. But Mike Williams, to me, was underwhelming as a Charger. He was never wide receiver 1 at any point in his career. Keenan Allen was always the better receiver. And Mike Williams stepping down is very disappointing. The Chargers have a very big need at receiver right now. If anybody on Twitter or X wants to tell you that the Chargers don't need a receiver, you got to drop them as a friend, or you got to unfollow them, because they absolutely do. The Chargers desperately need to sign somebody or trade for Terry McLaurin. I don't know why anybody would push that narrative on social media. Oh, the Chargers are fine. Oh, really? Who are you going to rely on? Quentin Johnston? Trey Harris, who's never played a game? Ladd McConkey is the only guy that we know today we can rely on.
Yeah, first, the Mike Williams thing, I just think it's another example of the NFL stands for not for long. And you see guys that, did Mike Williams have the long, promising career that we maybe thought he would have when he was drafted? No, but he had a short prime. And in those moments, he was very, very good. And then suddenly injuries came, and then he just wasn't built for it in the long run. But he had some moments, but obviously it just never came together. If the Chargers need a receiver or not, I think it's a question of, what are you really trying to accomplish this year, Dave? If you're really trying to accomplish beating the Chiefs, if you're really trying to accomplish make it to AFC, beat the Bills, maybe even win the AFC, if you really want to do that, you need another receiver. If you are going, this is just, that was year 1 last year, we're building towards year 2 this year, and we really are building upon the foundation, then okay, you stay put and you keep working towards what you're working towards, being a Super Bowl contender. I think that's the two avenues you kind of have right now. I'd prefer if they signed a receiver, because I think you're going to ask a lot of Smith and Harris and even Quinn Johnston to be something that maybe they're either not or not ready to be yet. But, we will see. I know it came out today that Quinn Johnston had a very good training camp and that, he was scoring touchdowns. But, Dave, as soon as I saw it, I go, touchdowns were against the rookies. Nothing wrong with that, but just gonna leave that out there, So what do you think, Dave? What do the Chargers need to do with this receiver position?
All right, here, we all like Ladd. There's not anyone in this chat that doesn't like Ladd. God forbid something happens to Ladd, then where does it leave this team? A team that we think has a chance of possibly being a Super Bowl contender. And you can hate the Chargers all you want. You look at the Chargers and go, which teams have a chance of going to the Super Bowl? If you're a football fan and you're realistic, you'd say the Chargers belong in that conversation. When you have a franchise quarterback with a coach like Harbaugh, and you have a team that did as well as they did last year, going from 5 wins to 11 wins, the Chargers are in that conversation. So you're going to sit there and hang basically your hat on an entire season on Ladd McConkey's health. You have to go out and get another receiver. You have to get someone that's proven, someone to do something. This team has been very frustrating, where you hear about every NFL team saying they're running out of money and salary cap. Well, the Chargers are one of those teams that have an abundance of money that didn't spend it. So, man, if you're going to sit there and go with your decision that you're sure this team has what it takes, man, you're putting a lot out there if you're Joe Ortiz, in my opinion, to sit there and say this is what we're going to basically the dance with. And I hope Ladd stays healthy. But, man, at the same time, we saw Ladd have a hard time taking hits multiple times. We're like, is he getting up? Is he going to finish this game? Now, there's some guys out there. I know you guys discussed it last week in the emergency show. Just want to throw 4 names out there, okay? I'll tell you who I think, and I know you guys covered these names. Keenan Allen's 33 years old. Keenan Allen had a much better season than I think people realize he had last year with a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. Keenan Allen at 33 had 70 receptions for 744 yards. Are you surprised he had that many receptions, or are you guys well aware of that?
He went off at the end of the year. I remember him going off the last few games.
Yep. Here we go. Go ahead, Mario.
No, I was just saying, I mean, you guys know I watch every Bears game. He became more of a safety blanket as the year went on for Caleb. Kind of similar to what he was for Herbert. He became that more and more.
And that's what he needs to be for us on this team. We need a safety blanket, right? Because I don't want to hear anything about Quentin Johnson. I don't care anything about how great he is in camp. None of that means anything to me. He needs to prove to us that everything we've seen the last couple of years isn't the real guy. Because right now, none of us are sold on Quentin Johnson. So I'm for the safety blanket. Keenan would be my first choice. My second choice is Amari Cooper. Okay, he's 31 years old, 44 receptions, 537 yards. Kind of a disappointing season for Amari. Kind of surprised me that his numbers were that low.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious who your third and fourth options are.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. I really don't have a third or fourth option, but I'm going to throw the names out there that people should be looking at. Gabe Davis is only 26, and that's the only reason why that name is attractive. He's only 26. Last year, only 20 receptions for 239 yards. Okay? Not impressive. 26, though, is the most impressive thing about him, and that's something he doesn't even control. It's his age. And the last one is just because I can't get enough of the goddamn YouTube video of Nelson Aguilar. It's Nelson Aguilar at age 32 with 14 receptions for 231 yards. When that guy in Philadelphia catches that baby out of a burning building and looks right at the camera and goes, yeah, I caught that baby. Not like Aguilar. When he takes a shot at the Eagles and Aguilar in a crisis, might be the greatest Hall of Fame video I've ever seen in my life. So if Aguilar was on the team, I just kind of like it because every time I hear the name Aguilar, I laugh a little bit. Also, by the way, a USC guy, so a little bit of Los Angeles ties. But for me, it's 1 and 2. It's Keenan is 1. Can't believe it's not done, which makes me think they aren't bringing him in. And 2 is Amari Cooper, unless they're going to make a trade for somebody.
Terry McLaurin. Why didn't you mention him? You don't want to trade for him? Maybe you give up a second round pick?
He would be my first choice. But, dude, I know, Mario, you said you think the Commanders are ready to get rid of him. I think the Commanders have a really hard time explaining that to their fan base. I think they're going to do everything they can to somehow make that work.
I don't think you're wrong in that, especially because Terry has been there through hell, thick and thin. So I imagine they're doing everything they can to just get that done. We shall see if that happens. Either that gets done or they share a stay-in with the Baltimore Ravens, which according to Stephen A. Smith, that's what they want.
I would take him in a heartbeat. I think he's a top 10 receiver in the league. Any team would take Terry McLaurin on their team. It's just, is the price right for him? Are you willing to give up draft picks? Are Commanders even willing to give him up? I want to highlight a comment here from Raiders owner Mark Davis. Came in at 3:14 your time, Mario. And not that one.
This one?
No. The one at 3:14. You'll get there. I believe in you. It says, you keep forgetting the running backs can catch and 2 tight ends. I didn't forget a damn thing, Mark. Look, the thing about Mike Williams, the part that hurts so much, even though I don't know how much he's going to contribute this year, was we missed the 3rd level receptions. Like crazy when he's gone. I'll break it down for you. 10 yards or less is the 1st level. We have a million guys that can do that. Quentin Johnson can do that. 10 to 20 yards, the 2nd level, Ladd can do that. And hopefully Trey Harris can do that. Maybe even Quentin Johnson if we get lucky. 3rd level, we have 0 people on this team that can do that. Maybe Trey Harris, yet to be seen. Okay, so when you take away the deep threat on this team, it makes the defense so much easier to play against the Chargers because nobody's going to be going deep. We know Quentin Johnson can catch those passes. Ladd's about 5'10". We have nobody that can do that on this team. Omarion Hampton is a great receiver out of the backfield. He's not running 40 yards down the field to catch a Justin Herbert pass. There's not one tight end on this team that we have seen that can make those catches. So that just hurts the team to a huge degree when you have nobody that can run down the field and catch a deep bomb. How many teams in the NFL don't have one guy that can do that? Chargers might be the only team. So that's what hurts. Mike Williams was the 50-50 guy that we've always had, and we expected it this year, and now we just don't have anybody.
My worry, too, is what happens when just one receiver gets hurt? How screwed are we? What's going to happen then, right? We're already thin at the position. And let's say, this Chargers schedule, guys, is not very forgiving. It's like last year we were like, hey, you could miss a couple of games. We're going to be all right. Let's say someone gets hurt in week 3. All right, well, in 2 weeks you have the Washington Commanders, who I know I'm not highest on, but they still could be one of the best teams in the NFL. That could be tough. You still have to go at Miami. And while, yes, they're in California, that Miami Heat is absolutely brutal for a lot of people, and it's even more brutal for the away teams. That's a big advantage for them. Then, Colts, which, yeah, thank you. That's easy. But then you have the Vikings, and Vikings is going to be a tough game in Minnesota because they have one of the best receiving cores, and that can become a shootout because you have one of the best offensive minds across the field from you. There's just not a lot of room for error, and that's my biggest worry, Dave, is one guy goes down, one guy gets hurt. Who can step up, and what do we do then? Because in this division with 4 coaches that will all be in the Hall of Fame, there's no room for error. If you have an off day against the Denver Broncos, they will beat you. If you have an off day against the Raiders, they will beat you. You have an off day against the Chiefs, they will beat the living hell out of you. They got to be prepared.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, if honestly they run into a situation where one of these receivers go down, and going back to what I said 5 minutes ago about Ladd, dude, it's a fireable offense to me by Joe Ortiz. Like, how are you not prepared for this roster? How can you let this one position let you down? As Josh said, you got to hit that next level. I understand you have 2 running backs that are supposed to be great at catching the ball out of the backfield, and maybe tight ends that maybe can catch the ball. You got to stretch the defense. You know how hard it is to run an offense when you got 11 guys up there? I mean, and now we don't even know about Najee. I mean, Omarion Hampton's a rookie that we're asking a lot from, and now all of a sudden you got the one-eyed bandit, Najee, over here, who you don't know if he's going to be able to catch or play like he used to. We got to figure something out. I mean, to me, there's a little bit of desperation where, for me, Josh, I know you don't reveal too much in preseason, but I kind of want to see what this passing game looks like through their preseason games to see, is this team going to be ready to go? Because Mario's right. You got 4 Hall of Fame coaches with talented teams on any day that can beat you. And right now, if you talk to people who are Bronco fans, you're hearing all kinds of stories that Sean Payton finally has this thing figured out. And they got the best defense, and they got the second best offensive line, and the 6th best roster. The team that most of us are picking 3rd in the AFC West all of a sudden becomes the 2nd best team in the league if we start suffering some serious injuries.
100%. My biggest problem with Tom Telesco was the Chargers had very good starting teams on paper. One guy gets hurt, there's no depth. None of Tom Telesco's teams ever had any depth. And the Chargers always sustain tons of injuries. And then by midseason, you're scrapping off of, whoever's a free agent who can step in and play for us. You're never going to win like that. And the Chargers have always been built like that, where you have nobody to plug and play. And there's a huge drop off. And to go into that point, John G had I'm sorry, Mario, I'm putting you on the spot like crazy. But John G had a comment that says, do you believe that we will just flip-flop Bradley Bozeman and Zion and we'll be good on the interior offensive line? I don't think that will happen, but I hope I'm wrong. Couldn't agree more. I'm getting very irritated listening to Jim Harbaugh and other people say, oh yeah, Zion's taking snaps at center, Bozeman's taking snaps at center. To me, it's like, dude, if you don't have a guy that can play center for every snap, then you really don't have a center. It's like having 2 quarterbacks. You really don't have a quarterback. We need a guy to play center, and we need a guy to play guard, and then just build from there. Obviously, we don't have a lot of faith in either one of those guys. And when Jim Harbaugh told us last season, Mario, oh yeah, Trey Pipkins, he's going to be a guard. He's going to be great for us. Oh, that never worked out. And then he tells you going into this training camp, oh, we have Trey Pipkins playing tackle again because he couldn't play guard. He's going to play tackle again. And if Joe Ald or Rashawn goes down, we're not going to have a drop-off. Don't piss on me, Jim, and tell me it's raining, okay? If Trey Pipkins gets into a game, we are effed. The thing that we rely on is our tackles. So I just don't like the coach speak to some degree. And if Zion and Bradley Bozeman are just going to interchange all training camp, I really have no faith that either guy can play the positions.
I'm curious, man. I'm curious to see what happens. And there is, Jim Harbaugh is the best spokesman for anyone or any of his players of all time. Like, he gets up there and you ask him one question and he's just gun ho about you. Everyone needs a hype man like Jim Harbaugh. And now, rather on the topic, you guys saw the video from him yesterday, I imagine, of him with Herbert.
What do you do? I missed it. What do you say?
You missed it? All right, I can pull it up actually because you guys have to. It is so creepy. It's so creepy that it's so good at the same time. It's like it kind of looks like a guy that's pewing on like. Imagine you're 12 years old and you're at the water park and you're seeing a very attractive woman get out of the bathroom, and that's what you're looking at.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real. That's from the Chargers Twitter account.
Why is he? What's he behind? What's he doing?
And why? He's the head coach. What's the secretive stuff? He's the head coach.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, he could be
He's
right
a
there,
stalker.
but
He's a stalker. Like that could be outside Justin Herbert's house, and none of us would be surprised.
He could be right behind, like right outside it.
Did you know he's sending Herbert Valentine's Day cards at this point? Like it is over the top.
Yeah, it's getting kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say too much. Yeah, that's
that is that. Anyway, man, look, I'm excited this team's going to get going. I mean, that's where we're at right now. I'm excited that we're going to see real football, and I understand it's not going to be guys that are going to be playing week 1 when they take on the Lions. I just want to see basically the Chargers out there. It's been after that disappointing loss in the playoffs. It's like we just want to get a chance to do it again. That's what I always say is the best thing about baseball. You can get the bad taste out of your mouth within 24 hours, where in football, you got to wait a week. And then when the season's over, it's just devastating. You're waiting for the draft or free agency. And this year they had a chance to do major things in free agency, and they really didn't. They didn't go out and open up the bank account and chase guys like other teams probably would have. I assume, and we hope we know what they're doing. And that's what we always say, right? That Ortiz and Harbaugh, they know what they're doing, and just trust the process. We just all want it now. That's the problem is we just want urgency now. We've waited so long. They're the only team in the division that really doesn't have, a Super Bowl trophy. And that's what we want. We're all starving for it.
Yeah. Let's run through some quick NFL news around the league. Titans quarterback Will Levis has elected to have season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. That just opens the door for Cam Ward. I don't think there's any question whether Cam Ward was going to be the starter, but now, it's for sure Cam Ward is going to be the starter in Tennessee. Any thoughts, Mario?
Damn it. Was really looking forward to Will Levis playing this year. God damn it, said the straight face. I want to see his contract because I think so. Oh, no, he still has 2 more years.
All right.
I thought his contract might be up.
What the F is going on here? Okay. Will Levis suffered this AC joint injury against the Dolphins on September 30th, 2024. All of a sudden, they announced this on July 21, 2025. Like, what? Like, Shaquille O'Neal's like, that's a long time to wait to take care of this injury. Remember Shaq used to do this crap all the time? We go, I got hurt on their time. They're gonna fix me on their time. This is one of those. Again, they know Will Levis can't play. This is one of those where to not make it awkward for Cam Ward of having a healthy quarterback that they drafted early, sitting there watching. They basically said, we're going to wipe this guy clean. We're going to take him out of the mix, so it's never a question of when we should go to him. And Will Levis will never take a snap for the Titans ever again. When he's healthy, this is all going to be done. He will never take a snap for the Tennessee Titans again. This is Cam Ward's team, and if it's not Cam Ward that can get it done, then they're going to go in another direction. But I guarantee it will not be Will Levis.
Yep. Let's continue in America's division, the AFC South. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson has been told by ownership that the organization hasn't given up on him, and there's still time for him to prove himself. So I couldn't say that without laughing. Anthony Richardson was ranked as the 33rd best quarterback in the NFL. Mario, how many teams are in the NFL?
32.
Well, okay. What are your thoughts on Anthony Richardson and the situation in Indianapolis?
Give the hell up. Just give up. Trade him. trade him and let him be a headache for someone else. He wasn't good in college. He wasn't good. He wasn't going to be good in the NFL, and now you're stuck with him. There's problems with his work ethic. There's problems with him throwing the football. He stinks. He's just not good. You invested in the wrong guy. You got it wrong. Again, move on.
All right, so it'd be hard to kind of trade him, but who knows? I mean, he looks like he's the next Trey Lance, right? So as Josh says, man, terrible career so far. In 2024, he threw for 1,814 yards, 8 TDs, 12 interceptions, completed only 47% of his passes. If this was 1972, those are good numbers, by the way, but it's not. This is when everybody completes like 65% of their passes. His career, he's played in 15 games. The book on quarterbacks used to always be 15 games was the magic number. In 15 games, he's thrown for 2,391 yards, 11 TDs, 13 interceptions, and has completed 50% of his passes. The Colts are in a lot of trouble. Easier to cut ties sooner than later. I'm glad he's not a Charger. At the same time, I think one of our first shows, Josh, you called this out and said, dude, he didn't play enough games in college at Florida to show what he really was. The Colts basically taking a huge risk here, and that's exactly what happened.
Another former first-round pick that's not having a good time is Noah Fant. He gets released by the Seahawks. He's 27 years old. He's ranked as the 20th best tight end in football, which would be the best tight end on the Chargers roster. Mario, do you have any interest in Noah Fant? He had 48 catches for 500 yards and a touchdown last season.
Actually, no. I'd rather focus on this receiver position, and let's get the rookie from Syracuse. Let's see what he's kind of all about. There's some high, up ceiling of him. I'd rather let him get some reps and see what he can be. And then one last touch on Anthony Richardson. Guys, you guys mentioned it, but another example of a quarterback that started one year that has failed. When will we learn that when a QB does not play for more than one season in college football, he will not be ready for the NFL and he will not do good? Trubisky, Anthony Richardson, both hanging out in the club going, boy, do we suck, buddy. That's just, a little life lesson for you.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. You say you like what you saw on tape. Okay, well, that tape was really short. It's one of those where I'm telling you, I feel like it's finally karma coming around what it should be. I thought the Colts cheated the system when they had Peyton Manning for all those years. And then all of a sudden they get Andrew Luck when Peyton Manning has the neck injury. And they're like, how the hell did they just go from Manning to Luck? I'm glad the Colts are struggling at the quarterback position like every other NFL team does when you lose a franchise guy.
I'm going to go through these rapid fire. Trey Hendrickson is not reporting to Bengals camp amid contract negotiations or lack of contract negotiations.
They aren't even close. Yeah. Trey Hendrickson, he's so pissed off right now. They aren't even close with a reasonable offer. Bengals
Parsons is worse. Jerry Jones making fun of him. Dude, it's crazy.
That was my last one. Hold on, we're going to get there, Mario. We're going to get there. I can't wait for this one, okay? And then Tyrann Mathieu retires today. Very good career. The Honey Badger's done. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. He's gone.
One of my favorite college players.
Oh,
I loved him in college. Yeah.
Couldn't stay off the weed.
Did you guys match up, Josh, in college?
No, he was there before me. Yeah, before me. A little bit older than me. All right. And then Mario got to it already. It was my favorite part of the week. Dave, did you see this Jerry Jones situation with Micah Parsons?
Did not.
Okay. I'll break it down for you. So
I tell you, avoid all cowboy talk at all costs. Always.
I do too, but I couldn't get away from this one. So Micah Parsons wants a contract extension in Dallas. Okay. Best player on the team. We'd all agree on that. CeeDee Lamb and him are the two best players on the team. Okay. Jerry Jones says that he doesn't take it seriously because Micah Parsons missed 6 games last year, and he doesn't know if that's a guy that he wants to sign to his team. Let's keep in mind that the Cowboys are not very good. Okay. And by the way, Micah Parsons did not miss 6 games last year. He missed 4. So I don't know about you, but I wouldn't try to piss off my best player, especially a guy that is considering coming back to the team if you can sign him to an extension. What are your thoughts, Mario?
I don't get this area of negotiation at all from Jerry Jones. I'm going to go 0 cents. And also, way to take a Dak Prescott's going, how did I just catch a ricochet right there? What's wrong with me? He just goes after his whole team, basically saying, I don't know why they want to be paid more. what's their problem? I want to make more money. It's like, Jerry, what the hell are you saying? It just cracked me up, and it made me happy to not have him as an owner of your favorite team, because Dave, he can't help himself from being the center of attention and to being the center of all the drama in the league. He has to be it.
Look, if I'm Micah Parsons, honestly, I look at what happened to Barkley last year with the Giants going to the Eagles and how that worked out great. I think more players, when you hold in the cards of being a premier player, that maybe it's okay to get out, and say, you know what, they don't want me here. I mean, you could say a lot of things to basically have the Cowboys move on from you. And I don't think that's the worst thing in the world to have the Cowboys move on from you. So if I'm Mike Parsons, I'm not holding back at this point. He's taking shots at me. I'm easily taking shots right back at him. I said, the next contract I sign, Jerry won't be around to watch this contract expire. And I know that sounds terrible to say, but get me the hell out of Dallas is what I say. Get me out of here. You obviously don't want me. You don't treat me like the superstar I am. I want out. And I would say something to get my ass out of Dallas.
He did this to Zach Martin, right? He's like, and Zach Martin's going to go down as one of the best guards in NFL history. And then he craps on him because I don't know if I want to sign a guard to that. And then he does. I would love for Micah Parsons to prove a lesson. So you know what, man? Even though you're probably going to give me the money that I want, I'm out of here. I'm not taking crap from you, geezer. All right, I don't want to be on the Cowboys anymore. I'm not going to let you talk crap about me. I have been your defense for the last 6 years or whatever it's been. So I think Jerry's crazy.
Also, I don't know if Jerry, can you really say he's doing everything he can to win now? Look who he just hired as head coach. And
puppet,
is it literally a puppet? And if I'm around him, I'm going, there has to be a reason why our last couple head coaching hires haven't gone well. And I'm starting to think it's not because of them, it's because of Jerry Jones and the circus that he kind of runs around him.
All right, super chat is popping off here.
By the way, Micah Parsons, I love the fact he doesn't hide that whole idea that he's a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. I think that's hilarious. A team inside of your division, how he grew up a huge Eagles fan and still loves the Eagles. And tell you what, he would love to go to a team inside that division, whether it's the Eagles or it's the Commanders. Dan Quinn would love to have him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think every team would love to have him. All right, here we go. Let's kick it off with AK499. He says, I want to start by giving flowers to number 17. He retired as a Bolt. He was great in the regular season, but he was so small in the playoffs with the roster he had. I don't think he was that bad in the playoffs. I think Phillip Rivers could have been better in the playoffs, right? Obviously, he never even made it to the Super Bowl, but I never thought he was the guy that was hurting the team in the playoffs.
No, he wasn't.
He played on a torn ACL when LT was on the exercise bike. He got the big win in Baltimore. He beat the Bengals. He was a guy that had some good wins in the playoffs. Could he have been better? Like I said, of course.
My dad used to say this about everyone in the 90s with Jordan, and I think it's similar to a lot of quarterbacks with Brady. You got beat just by greatness. It was very hard to win in the era that Phillip was in. You had Manning, you had Brady, and if you weren't one of those two, good freaking luck. And I think that was just something that took a bad beat for Phillip Rivers. And, sadly, he wasn't able to accomplish everything he would like to accomplish, and everything we wish he accomplished.
Yeah, I don't think these playoff losses, you look back and go, Phillip Rivers cost us. That wasn't the situation at all. You can go back, and I know I'm taking shots at Dan Fouts. Here comes number 3. Look at Dan Fouts' numbers. Go look at Dan Fouts' – go to Football Reference. If you think I'm joking on how bad Dan Fouts was in the postseason, arguably one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history in the postseason. And yet he's supposed to be, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. This was not Rivers' fault. I mean, Nate Kading deserves a blame on that. Not being able to tackle Sean Green deserves blame on that. The fact that he played on a torn ACL in New England because, hey, not taking a shot at Tom Brady, but kind of am. Tom Brady got to host every one of those goddamn playoff games because they were in a horrible division for years with 3 teams that were terrible that basically gave them 6 automatic wins. So they got to host all those playoff games in New England. Yeah, I understand Tom had to do it at a neutral site in the Super Bowl. But, man, you look at Rivers and go, you're criticizing him for what he did. It wasn't his fault. When you talk about a team game, I thought this guy was always prepared, respected by his teammates. Kind of cool that he wore number 17 and played exactly 17 years. I got nothing bad to say about Phillip. And by the way, off the field, man, he's cool as can be. I mean, he's exactly the kind of person that you'd want as your neighbor, as a friend.
Matthew Dahl 199. He says going to miss Diamond Poirier in the octagon. What do you think, Mario?
Shedded a tear a little bit seeing him last time in the octagon. Did fade him though, and that proved to help the wallet. I told about probably close to 25 people in the Kirkwoods bar in Chicago, Illinois, to also bet Max Holloway. So everyone that did, you're freaking welcome. And subscribe to the goddamn pod. But no, it's great fighter, so many great moments. One of the most likable fighters in UFC history. Very funny moment, guys. So like Max Holloway, he's known for like the point down, which just means like you just throw everything you have in the last 10 seconds of the fight. And they both agreed that they would do that if they made it to like the 5th round. Max Holloway is like the best boxer in UFC history. They go to point down, and Dustin Poirier like agrees to do it. And then after like 5 seconds, he like wrestles up with Holloway, and the press conference was like, yeah, I thought that was a good idea, but after about like 4 punches, I was like, nah, we're wrestling, dude. That hurts so bad. So he's like, I'm done. And I thought that was pretty funny.
All right, AK, don't put this on the screen because there's a cuss word in there. All right, I'll read it. AK, we can't cuss and put your stuff on the screen. 999 says, let's see what Herbie can do when he has the best running back, tight end, top 3 defense every year. Great offensive line. I have Uncle Dave on my side. I do not need anyone. Let's go. MVP, my baby franchise quarterback. Josh, this was for you. You go first because I love you, bro. I love you too, AK. I don't think Justin Herbert needs a top running back and top tight end and top defense to win. I think he just needs a good running back and a good tight end and a good defense to win, because that's how great that he is. If any quarterback needs the top 3 defense and the best to win, then how good is that quarterback really? And people are going to say that's what you said about Jalen Hurts. Okay, I get it. You're going to say that's what I said about Jalen Hurts. Whatever. I think Justin Herbert's probably better than Jalen Hurts. There you go.
You need some like defense that's serviceable. Like the Chiefs defense is not filled with guys, not all 11 are going to the Hall of Fame, but all 11 know their roles and they excel in their roles. That's what you need, and if you don't have that, you're not going to be successful. And I think that's what Herbert needs. He needs a true number 1 receiver. He needs a true number 2 receiver, I should say, not number 1, Dave. But that's what Herbert needs to be successful.
Look, this game evolves, man. Every game does, right? You learn something new about the way people go about trying to win and keep people off balance. The part about this game right now over the last couple years that has gone right back to when football first started is the interior offensive line. It seemed like the Chargers are the last ones to realize this is what's happening, because what are the defenses doing? For years, it was the defensive ends who were getting paid all this money, and these left tackles, The Blind Side, the movie about the left tackles and protecting guys on the edge rushers. What are the championship teams doing right now? They're all attacking from inside. Everyone who has a solid interior defensive line with great defensive tackles, and maybe the Rams started it by, maximizing Aaron Donald, but to see what the Eagles are doing, to see what the Rams are still doing, for the fact if that's where teams are building their defense to attack you and you not having anything to help that to be the weakest part of the Chargers offense is very concerning to me.
Yeah, you got to block up the middle. It's crazy. B. Hannon, $2 says, what is your favorite scary movie? Dave, you can go first.
All right. So here's the deal. I'm not a horror movie or the movie Scary Movie. Which one are we talking about? If you want me to rate Scary Movie, it's number 3. Because number 3 at the beginning with Jenny McCarthy and Pam Anderson is awesome. But if we aren't going that direction, that's, I guess, more of a horror movie, not a horror movie. I'm not a scary movie person. Don't like to be scared. The movie Halloween scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid and watched it. I didn't sleep for a week.
I'm not a scary movie person either, but the one that probably got me the worst was Paranormal Activity. Remember that movie, Mario? They filmed that. Dude, that was scary, right? I remember I was in high school when it came out, and I went to the movie theater and watched it. Got the crap scared out of me. And what made it even worse, Mario, was they filmed it down the street from my house.
Yeah.
So I was like, it made it way worse. I was like, oh my God, they literally filmed it in Bonita, I believe. And I was scared crapless.
I'm the biggest scaredy cat of all time. I'm very jumpy and with movies and everything. And when I was in first grade, I had to go to my older brother's friend's house for Halloween. For some reason, I couldn't go to my friends. And they made me watch Halloween. And if I left, I got hit. So I had to sit there and watch the whole thing. To this day, if you play that music, you're catching something. Like, you're going to get something from, like, I don't like it. In college, like, I literally, all my friends growing up knew that. My brothers, the next year of Halloween, locked me in my room and played the music to scare me, and I cried for like 4 hours. And then as soon as I got out of the room, they tackled me with a mask on, and then they like hit me a bunch of times. And it's pretty scarred. College, my friends thought it'd be funny because they thought I was lying, so they tried to like surprise me with it. And worst fight I've ever gotten in my life. That was the only time it got a little personal. And yeah, so Halloween, I hate it. Good. There's some good scary movies. Like The Conjuring is very scary, but it's a good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. Sinner's supposed to be really good too. I haven't seen it yet. But Paranormal Activity, that did damage to our generation, Josh.
It did.
Dude, that music, Josh, I don't know if you know the music. If somebody has that on their phone and it goes off, your head immediately turns, what the hell, dude? Because it's nightmarish. It's awful.
I also don't like thrasher movies. Like Paranormal Activity is at least like interesting to me because it's something different. But the thrasher, the bloody, I'm all good. Funny moment. I think it's like the second one when he opens the door and there's all those people in the garage. And I don't know why it made me laugh because he just doesn't talk, shuts it, and just books it. I don't know why, but like that got a good giggle out of me.
Miguel Alvarez 499. He says, off topic. My wife and I are having our first son.
Wow.
In September. Congratulations. I can't make up my mind.
Did not pull out.
Yep. Can't make up my mind. Maximus, Liam, and Nolan. Which name do you guys like best? I'll go first, dude. First off, congratulations again. I like Maximus because Gladiator is one of my favorite movies, and I think it's just a cool name. What do you guys got?
Maximus. That's a strong name.
Dude, I literally said to Josh a couple days ago, I like the name Max. And Josh fired right back in a half a second. It's a good name for a dog. That's exactly what you said to me.
Well,
yeah,
it's
Maximus is cooler. Yeah, than Max.
But they're not going to call him Maximus. They're going to call him Max. It's what's
maybe they will.
Maximus. Yeah,
we'll call him Maximus.
It's going to be Max. I'm not a big fan of the name Nolan. I like the name Liam, but there are a bunch of Liams out there now. Maximus might be the best way to go. I don't know. I'm one of these guys kind of believes in names, like the strength of your name. Like, you ever notice offensive linemen's last names, they fit offensive linemen, like Stefanski? You're like, it's an offensive line quarterback, right? It's not a running back or a wide receiver. Yeah. I always believe these names kind of fit, but Josh doesn't listen to me as I throw a million names at him all the time.
I like strong names too. My firstborn son is going to be Vincent, which is also a strong name.
Yes, so, dude. That's my wish name I had was Vincent. Go by Vinny.
Wow.
It's tough.
Yeah, Bo Jackson's real name's Vincent, one of the greatest Chargers of all time, Vincent Jackson.
Miguel, don't be afraid to use Benjamin or Mario or Heron if you want any of those.
Brian Plant, $20. Thank you. He says, most authentic Chargers podcast out there. Real, unfiltered opinions with hilarious off-the-rails antics. Dude, I appreciate that. I mean, I feel like I contribute the least when it comes to off-the-rails stuff on this show. I'd say Mario's in first place, Dave's in second, and I'll take the bronze in that category right there.
Yeah, Brian, I appreciate that. You disagree with what part?
No, I feel like Josh is the sneaky one in that whole thing because he just pokes it. You do poke it.
Dude, what I do on the show is I lay it up, and then you and Dave get out of the park. That's all that happens on the show. It's great.
You Chris Paul
for me. It's fun. That's why I read the questions so you guys can answer them. What's up? What are you saying?
No, so Brian, it's very nice of wait. So we hope it's that way. Hell, the Chargers are not fans of ours. That's for sure. We're I think the only podcast that wasn't invited to podcast day. You know, when we called to ask for help in getting tickets, and not free tickets to go to the Dolphins Charger game, they dropped back with good luck with that. We are not in their Christmas card list, which, by the way, I used to get a Christmas card from the Chargers every year. I stopped getting those once we started this show. Oh, well.
Yeah, we're like Jim Harbaugh trying to watch the practices.
Yeah, no kidding.
Krevix Bass 499 says, I don't like how a lot of these Chargers podcasters think money balling the Chargers is a good strategy. What is money balling? Do you know what that means?
Does that mean spending money on the roster? Is that what he's saying?
I think I was thinking Moneyball like the movie.
Oh,
okay. Well, if that's, I'm with him on that. If he thinks, I'm 100% believe you got to spend money to get quality stars. The only 6 guys on the roster you have to pay every year. That's it. Just 6 out of 53. Every successful NFL team basically pays 6 guys, unless you're the Eagles who somehow figured a way around it. That's all you can afford with the salary cap. Which, when you look at, by the way, NFL salary cap is insane. When you see how much money, like you see running backs that we're all going to draft in fantasy football trying to just get $8 million, and they're freaking out, or what's going on in Washington, and someone just wants to get paid, or Trey Hendrickson. And then you look at a guy like Damian Lillard, who's going to make $71 million a year for the next 2 years each. So he's going to make $142 million and not even play next year. Look at the difference in leagues. It's crazy. And I understand only 12 guys on the roster in the NBA, but man, I told you guys for years and nobody ever listens. The NFL Players Association is ridiculously dumb. They should have grabbed those T-shirts for those WNBA girls that said, basically, pay me. I mean, it's insane. Stupid.
Yeah, sorry for not understanding the Moneyball reference there. Yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't Moneyball anything. I would spend the money on the players that deserve it, or you believe deserve it. Of course. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Spend money, make money.
CNox 199 says, thoughts on Slater being hurt and still not signed? I'm not very concerned, honestly. Like, he's a guy that is going to be ready if they sign him, which I think they will. We all know he has a personal situation going on. And that's why they haven't signed him yet. But the clock is ticking, I'd say. I mean, training camp is underway. You want him to be there to work out.
All right, just to clear this out more, I don't know if you're going to say about it, but I'm just going to use the word allegedly so we don't get sued, okay? Allegedly, the story is with Slater is he's going through a divorce right now. And if he signs those papers before his divorce is final, he has to give her half. So basically, he's protecting his strength and his bank account. She's already gotten a good chunk of it. I don't know his wife, and I don't know him. But it's a smart business move. And you can sit there and say, we're going to sit him out because, yeah, you don't want to take a chance of getting hurt without a contract. So I hope he's not really hurt. I hope this is all just strategy until this divorce is final.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
All right.
There you go.
We got a Dave rant?
Yeah, well, real quick. Isaiah Francis says in here, Dave, any Ozzy Osbourne stories? Look, I'm an Ozzy fan. I regret not seeing Ozzy. He performed not far from my house a few years ago, and I was like, man, I should probably go. Crazy Train, if you've been to Charger games in the past, the Chargers used to play Crazy Train every time the Chargers started a game with kickoff. Mama, I'm Coming Home, which people will probably hear on the radio a million times today. If you listen to the radio still, it's a great song. Ozzy was so unique for the fact you couldn't understand a damn thing he ever said except when he said Sharon. Except when he's saying, you understood every word perfectly. And when he's saying, it was wild, right? But then when he would speak just normal, like "Get me a lemonade," you couldn't understand a damn thing he ever said. But singing, he was a character, man. And what was the name of it? It wasn't Meet the Osbournes. It was something, whatever, that Osbourne family show was out like 25 years ago. I loved that show. Thought it was awesome. It was entertaining. It was really one of the first reality shows. Yeah. Remember,
it's called the Osbournes.
The Osbournes. That was it. Simple enough, right?
Yeah.
Simple enough. All right.
I remember he had he refused to marry. It was like his girlfriend the whole time. That's the only thing I remember from that show is my mom complained about that. And then she turned it off. She said, don't be like that.
No, that's Gene Simmons. Family Jewels.
Oh.
Gene Simmons refused to marry the girlfriend. Yeah. Shannon Tweed. Yeah. You don't even know who Shannon Tweed is, do you? Shannon Tweed was the girl like in those softcore porn movies on like Cinemax. Was always on. Yeah.
Was Ozzy not in Kiss?
No, Ozzy wasn't in Kiss. He was Black Sabbath. Gene Simmons was Kiss. Yeah.
You could have. Wow. You could. I thought Kiss died today. That's my bad.
No, that was Black Sabbath. No.
Oh.
Yeah, and he did marry Shannon Tweed finally. I was on that show, Family Jewels, believe it or not, Mario.
Really?
Yeah. No joke. I was on that show. I've been on 3 reality shows, which is kind of a weird thing to say.
I own your bar rescue. I own it on
Rescue,
Amazon.
Yeah.
You can only buy it. You couldn't rent it, so I bought it.
I was on Blind Date. I was on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels and Bar Rescue. Yeah. Kind of crazy. Anyway, no, he was Black Sabbath. Okay.
My bad.
There you go.
Rest in peace.
All right. Here we go. Here's my rant. Probably not going to be a popular one. Okay. There's some people are going to agree with this rant, and some people are going to think, what a jerk. But I'm sure you guys say that every goddamn show, so I don't care. All right. Somebody wrote to Josh, basically your dad needs therapy. I'm like, okay. That's fine. As I said before, I hate when people say what's wrong with you, and a lot. That's where we're at. Dude, the tipping thing is out of control. I'm just going to speak for what I think of the majority of the people in this country. The tipping thing is insane. In Europe, they do it so much better. I've never been to Europe, but everyone tells me the price is the price. Okay. Also, I'm not a fan of, it's a whole nother rant of people that you negotiate your price of things. Like when you go to other countries, that's ridiculous to me. I just want to know what the price is, and I'll decide off the price if I'm going to pay it, not pay it. The tipping thing has to go. Businesses have to work the tip thing into whatever the meal is. We're done with this. You can't sit there and work at one of these sandwich shops and do absolutely nothing but punch in. What did you get? You got the number 7. And then the next thing on there is, do you want to tip 20%, 22, or 25%? Those are my next options. I don't want to tip anything. I'll be honest with you, because you didn't do anything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to tip. I watched you reach back and you grab the loaf for me. You didn't bring it to my table. I didn't sit down. You don't even go and get me my soda. You give me an empty cup and I got to go fill it up. But the fact you guys stare at me to tip, and I do, I don't even tip the lowest amount, which I think is ridiculous. Josh and I were in Denver a year ago, and it was the most absurd one of all time. We went out to breakfast, Josh. Remember that? Went to a breakfast place. You didn't even see the bill, but they come over with that thing now to your table. It's the Toast app is what it's called. And they come over and you just sign with your finger and you put the amount, and they can set the tip amount in there. When Josh and I went to eat in Denver, I know JT's listening right now. Your Punk City tried to rip me off. The tip choices were 25, started at 25%. Then it went up to 28%. Then it went to 33%. Those are my options of tipping. 33%? That's where we're going now? Insane. So now with all the politics that, hey, no tax on tips, you guys, anyone who's in the service industry, you guys completely blew it. You got a $15,000 credit to your taxes just by being a server. Now you sit there and you take that away. By the way, if I'll never pay cash for a tip again, because I know you're going to keep 100% of it. If I'm going to pay taxes, you're going to pay taxes. And so I'm going to sit there and I'm going to pay credit card every goddamn time. Every time, just to screw you over, because I think the industry stinks. I hate it. All right? And you can say whatever you want. This guy's a punk, whatever. Heck, when they go to the grocery store and you go, you want to donate $1 to St. Jude's? Yeah, push yes every time. I'm not callous. But the tip thing is out of control. It's way out of hand. All right. I always thought I was a really good tipper. With the options were 15, 20, 22. I always hit 22. But now you guys are sitting there setting that thing for 25 to 28 to 33. F off. I don't want to give you a damn dime. It is out of control. Set the price, and that's the price. Figure it in the mail, into the meal, and pay your employees what they expect to get per hour. It's so effed up in this country. I can't tell you. That's where I'm at. I'm done with the tipping.
They don't tip in Canada. You know that? They build it into the bill.
Yeah, and then in Paris, by the way, Americans go over there all the time and they tip. You aren't supposed to tip, but they take your money. They don't push it back at you. Like, stupid Americans, just give me a tip. Damn.
In DC, they had majority of places had tip built in, and they would tell you like, hey, tips built in, so you don't have to worry about it. I don't know if they have that in Chicago. I don't know if they have that in Nashville, Josh. But that was a big thing in DC because I would see it right away. I'm like, oh, you already built in 20%. I don't need to tip anything more.
And Mark right on it for good service. Dude, you're supposed to have good service. Every job you have, you're supposed to be at your best. Otherwise, they fire you. That's the way it works. What's this good service thing? Because they didn't cuss at me? Or they didn't throw my goddamn eggs at me? What? Look, I've been tipping my whole life. Not one time have I never not tipped. I'm just saying it is out of control now. It's ridiculous. That's where I'm at. Do you round up when they say you want to round up? Hey, your meal was $19.02. Do you want to round up to even it out? Do you do it?
Sometimes. Not every time.
I always do. Because I don't want all that goddamn change rattling around in my car. but I'll even give him 98 cents. Round it up, whatever.
That literally reminded me when you would go. Remember when you'd go to a baseball game and they had like the hot dog guy coming around and like the drinks guy? What would always drive me insane is when you would pay with cash and you'd be like, all right, how much was it? And they go $13.25. And I'm like, I don't want why can't we just round up? Like, why can't it be just 14 even? It drove me
I
insane.
100% agree with you. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to take cash, it should be even number, like $14. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. What a pain in the ass.
And the guy's got the coin thing and he's doing that. I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah,
like,
blocking the game for everybody.
Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Now they have at the Cubs game, they had like you can order ahead and they come to you like a DoorDash. And I was like, oh, this is the easiest thing ever. Ordered in like the 4th inning, like came in the 8th inning, and I was just like, I mean, I still want the hot dog, but Jesus Lord, guys, we gotta move a little quicker.
Damn, here guy, they asked you tip bartenders. Yeah, I tip everybody. I don't want to tip the bartender. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I always feel like I'm getting ripped off anyway. I just bought a beer that I could have bought 6 of at the store. The fact I came in here and bought that overpriced beer is enough. But I tip the bartender. I tip bartenders at weddings. No matter where I'm at, I tip. I still tip. I just hate the process right now.
Yeah, the tip for bartenders is different than the tip for like your waiter. It's not the same amount.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Also, it's hard to be drunk and tip. Yeah.
It's also too though, like if you're at a bar, like I think you should tip. Like if you get a mixed drink, I think you should tip more. But if you just get a beer, you're like, dude, you're just twisting it off. You're not gonna get an extra $4 for a twist off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Mike G says tip strippers. When would I tip a stripper?
Yeah, what?
For what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
I've never been.
I mean, are you throwing cash? Are you making it rain on the stage? Yeah. Why would I give a tip on top of that? What?
Yeah.
No.
Good point. Yeah. When they walk off the stage,
Yeah.
hey, thank you. Here's some more cash.
Tip
your bar 50%. Dude, you're out of your mind.
Okay, I will agree with that. I tip my barber a lot. Yeah, I do a lot. I want a relationship.
How much is your haircut worth?
So if it's like so in DC it was 50, I'd always try to tip like 20 to 25.
Oh my God.
Because I wanted a good relationship. Like I wanted them I wanted to get 100% effort. You know what I mean? That's why I always wanted it. And because I don't really know what I'm wanting. And if it looks good, then I'm going to tip the 25. But if it doesn't look good, I'm probably not going to.
Wow. Okay, I'm way off.
Yeah. But, fellas, we had a little bit of a situation. That's why I actually had to get up and leave from the apartment.
Oh, no.
So,
I had a feeling.
This apartment that I moved into with my friend from Indy, it used to be an Airbnb until we moved in now 2 weeks ago. So today, there is someone I'm in the bathroom and there's someone knocking on the door repeatedly, and I can hear them trying to type the code to get in, and I hear the beep beep saying it's wrong, and I'm literally in the bathroom, so I'm not. Hopefully, I can just wait a second. And I was gonna yell, "Hey, hold on!" I was just I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. They dip, come back out. We're doing the show. Someone knocks again, and it's this lady going, "Excuse me, are you the customer that canceled? Because if not, you need to leave." And I was like, "The customer for what?" And she goes, "For Airbnb." And I go, "This is not an Airbnb. This is my apartment that I'm paying for. I live here." And her eyes got really, really big and just scattered away. Just ran away. So I don't know what that means. Because if Airbnb in it, that means you own it, right? So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You need to have a conversation with your buddy after this show, see what's going on.
Yeah, that's probably it was a little nuts. And the building just went on a new ownership the day we moved in. So when we try to contact people for our moving in stuff you get, the keys of where everything is and stuff like that, there's nothing. And this guy, I kept emailing this guy. The guy's like, "Dude, why are you emailing me so much?" I go, "Because I don't have anything. I don't even know how to get in the freaking building, big guy. You guys didn't send me anything." So it's been fun.
This sounds really bad, man. I'm not even going to lie to you. Does not sound good.
No day in the
Dude, it
life.
almost sounds, hey, it almost sounds a little bit genius right there, Mario. Why don't you rent another apartment and Airbnb one of them?
True. Scheme them up a little bit.
See how much money you
Scheme
can make
schemer.
Airbnb in one of the other apartments that you sign a lease with.
That's what when I first lived in DC for the internship program that JT's doing, that's what a guy did. Went to
Really?
IU and he went and signed like 6 leases in DC. And since it was
Yeah.
COVID happening, he didn't have to pay rent. And he was just filling those puppies up with interns and just making crazy profit off of it.
I like it. Wow. God dang.
Good for that guy.
Run a Fortune 500 company. Look at that.
Yeah. It's probably
All
a
right.
drug addict, to be honest with you. Just being honest.
All right. We're back Thursday. All right. We're aiming for 1 o'clock. Just so you know, I might run a little bit of traffic on that 5 again, but we're aiming for 1 o'clock on Thursday. That's the plan.
Sounds
Right?
good. I'll be here. Yep.
I'll be here. Good deal. All right. Again, thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll talk more Charger football with you. Don't forget, a week from the next show, kickoff, man. We're ready to go. Hall of Fame game, Chargers and Lions, man. That starts getting really exciting. All right. For Mario Heron, Josh Palet, I'm Dave Palet. Please like and subscribe to the show. Leave your comments on YouTube. We'll get to those as well. But otherwise, have a great couple days, everybody.